What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here, and welcome to episode 240 in Shadows and Pretties. So today for this episode, depending on when I get this episode out, it may be around before Valentine's Day or even after Valentine's Day. I'm not really exactly sure when I'll get this out, but if it's, before Valentine's Day, when episode's released, I want to say Happy Valentine's Day to you all, you guys, and even if this has been posted after Valentine's Day, I'll say Happy Valentine's Day to you guys. Hope you all have or had a good Valentine's Day, depending on, when this is posted. I'm hoping I can get this posted before Valentine's Day, but it really depends on whatever my upload schedule is and when my upload schedule on when I want certain videos to be released. But anyways, today we're going to be reviewing Dead Rising 2, which is a 2010 zombie game. It does have a couple spin-offs, which I will get to in a bit. But yeah, I will be talking about the spin-offs in separate videos, because, if I talk about it in this one, the video would be pretty long. So anyways, this is a sequel to Dead Rising. It came out in 2010, like a couple years after the first one. However, it's a really awesome game involving a different protagonist, and it's not involving, Frank West and Dead Rising 2, the canon one. Although there is spin-offs to the game, to the sequel, which I will talk about, full plots of those in the other ones. So this is a sequel to Dead Rising, and it's, in the second game of the series. Kind of the same one like the first game, involving yourself in a mall, dealing with crazy psychopaths, zombies, etc. However, this one is about a motocross rider named Chuck Greene, who finds himself at the center of another zombie outbreak taking place in a casino resort and shopping complex in Nevada called, Fortune City. So, anyway, this is a pretty fun game. I definitely would recommend it. This is the one where you can craft weapons and, make it, weapons more amazing, well made in detail. However, I can also definitely say is that it's a pretty good game and a great sequel to Dead Rising, Dead Rising 2. Well, the first Dead Rising game. It's pretty amazing. It's really well done, definitely well made in detail, and I gotta really say it's pretty awesome. So I guess with that being the case, and that being said, let me get started with the plot of Dead Rising 2 for any of you guys who have not played the game in a long time or all that. So yeah. Anyways, I think we should get started with that. So basically, this takes place in 2011, basically 5 years after the events of Dead Rising, the first one. A motocross champion, Chuck Greene, is in a fictional casino town of Fortune City in Nevada, who take part in Terror's reality controversial sports entertainment game show where contestants kill zombies for money and fame. Chuck needs the prize money to buy Zombrex, a daily medication that suppresses the zombification process, for his daughter Katie, who is bitten by her zombified mother during a previous outbreak in Las Vegas, when she was only 4 years old at the time. So while Chuck is backstage after the show's supply of zombies is released, and eventually Chuck rescues Katie and makes his way towards the emergency shelter, which is sealed off after their arrival. Raymond Sullivan, the only security guard to reach the shelter alive, is intentionally reluctant to let the infected Katie in, but Chuck promises to keep her supply with Zombrex until the military arrives in 3 days. So Chuck ventures out to the post-apocalyptic city to find a dose of Zombrex. However, while he enters, and finds shelter through an air duct, another survivor, Stacy Forsythe, the leader of the Nevada branch of zombie rights organization, Citizens for Undead Rights Equally, which is in town proceeds of the treatment for the zombies by Terror's reality, supplies him with a map and a two-way radio, and she keeps in watch on the shelter's security monitors and direct Chuck to any survivors or points of interest in the area. After returning with the first dose of Zombrex for Katie, the news report implicates Chuck as the cause of the Fortune City outbreak. However, Chuck tracks down the reporter Rebecca Chain at a nearby hotel. She offers her a story of a lifetime if she gives him the chance to prove his innocence and helps him determine who really was behind the outbreak. Following this, Chuck has three main objectives to discover the Fortune City origin pretty much during the following of the case files, just like the first one. Rescue missions and rescue survivors as many as possible, either from zombies or psychopaths, boss characters, find enough doses of Zombrex to keep Katie alive until the military arrives, etc. However, Chuck and Rebecca discover that the terrorist reality host Tyrone, or TK King, is using the outbreak to cover up the rob of Fortune City's four main casinos. So Chuck foils the robberies and prevents the host from escaping his helicopter, and TK is locked up in the shelter, and reveals that another organization responsible for the outbreak paid him to have Chuck framed for it. So 3 days after the outbreak, the military eventually arrives, and the green gas begins to eliminate in the underground, causes the zombies to mutate into a more powerful form. The convoy is unprepared to deal with the super zombies and is wiped out almost completely. A second military force would normally arrive in 24 hours later, but media reports claimed that the first convoy reached the shelter and found no survivors. So the city would be cleansed by a firebombing at that time. The safe house is also sabotaged, so Chuck must quickly repair the door before too many zombies enter. Regardless of the player's actions, depending on the choice, TK is bitten and needs Zombrex to survive. Rebecca reveals the cause of the gas to be seen in underground cross tunnels, so Chuck finds a hidden facility where the pheromone... Oh yeah, I can't really say that, but like a pharmaceutical company beneath pheromones, the makers of Zombrex, is harvesting the zombies, and the drug is manufactured from the Queen's genetically modified wasps that create zombies. Kind of like how the first one went out, pretty much. Released, but by that time, is intended to increase the number of queens in the zombie horde. After killing the scientists in charge of the harvesting, Chuck recovers a satellite phone from a laptop, and the facility takes him to Rebecca as proof that the Phenometrons orchestrated the outbreak in order to harvest more queens. While driving up the demand for Zombrex, just as Rebecca attempts to contact her news station to report the discovery, Sullivan eventually shoots her and kills her. Sullivan is revealed to be the Phenometrons operative, and he was the one who let terrorist reality zombies out while framing Chuck as one who sabotaged the shelter. He escapes, however, with the phone and the laptop, and Chuck follows him into a casino roof where he plans to escape by a skyhook after revealing that Vegas and Fortune City outbreaks were necessary to keep the consistent supply of queens to make Zombrex. Enraging Chuck as his wife was killed in the Vegas outbreak, which led Katie getting infected in the first place. After a fierce battle, Chuck eventually handcuffs Sullivan into the harness on the rooftop, ripping him in half when the Discovery aircraft catches the skyhook. Chuck eventually contacts Rebecca's channel and offers to give him proof of the Phenomenon's involvement in Fortune City outbreak if they send helicopters to rescue the survivors. As the helicopter picks him up, if TK was not given Zombrex, he gets zombified and attacks the group, forcing Chuck to sacrifice himself to allow the others to escape. However, if TK was given Zombrex, he kidnaps Stacy and Katie and suspends them over a horde of zombies while challenging Chuck to a final duel. And eventually, Chuck hurls TK to his death and then leaves with his daughter, Katie, and Stacy, and thus how the game ends. After confirming, earlier rumors of the game's existence, as well as a viral video of the game, the developers Blue Castle Games worked with Kalaji and Keijin Anifun, the original producer for, Capcom's former global head research development of the original Dead Rising team members. Although eventually this game was announced back in February 9th of 2009. I mean, the graphics of it was just flat out amazing, and it's just a really good concept when it came to, this game. It's really well made in detail. I definitely gotta say, it's a pretty fun game for what this is. I mean, it's a good sequel. Although we do have a first sequel called Dead Rising Free. I, however, have not played it, so I can't really explain too much about that, but I will maybe consider getting to it in the future. So, anyways, I'm going to go with a little bit of, the downloadable content or DLC. So basically, Case Zero is basically a prequel for Dead Rising 2, and it's set shortly after Chuck and Katie escape from Las Vegas zombie outbreak. However, the player must deal with a minor outbreak in the town of Still Creek and move on until the military arrives and kills any infected, including non-zombies like Katie. So the player can reach up to a level 5 in Case Zero with the level and any combo cards, etc., etc. Eventually, that downloadable content was released for Xbox 360 back in 2010 in August. And, I mean, it's a pretty interesting concept. However, this game is region-locked to these specific areas where it cannot be downloaded outside of these regions in the game's first week of release. So, yeah, that was during that time. However, Case West, which basically is available to the market, although it was released back then. However, though, it's pretty much involving, Frank West as the main character from the first game, and it's pretty interesting that he comes into play in Case West. So pretty much the remake of it is called Off the Record, which is basically a different kind of game. It's like non-canon or anything, but I definitely have to say right now that this one is just mainly involved. It's pretty much the alternative version of the same story, aka Dead Rising 2, except this one is not canon to, the original Dead Rising game, which is, we have the second one, which involves Chuck Greene. This one, called Off the Record, is focusing on pretty much Frank West. So this is kind of like an alternative universe, so to speak, if that makes any sense. So basically, this game is about Frank West, who replaces Chuck Greene, and of course, he gets flirted by Rebecca Chang, the reporter. And every time I see Rebecca Chang in Dead Rising, she always makes these, some quotes that does seem a little... Okay, how should I put this in the most, ad-friendly way possible? Because I don't want to go too much into detail, otherwise YouTube would not be fond of me, going into too much detail. But when it came to this Dead Rising, like Off the Record, Rebecca basically flirts with Frank in this one. Like in Off the Record, Rebecca does flirt with Frank West, and she did also flirt with Chuck Greene in the original one as well. But since this is like the remake, it's really funny how Rebecca Chang flirts with Frank West in this. I mean, I honestly really started thinking, maybe she's, I can't really say the word, but, you guys may guess it begins with here's the thing. It begins with H-O-R and put a Y in it. Yeah. I have to spell it so you guys can understand what that means, okay? I'm pretty sure most of you guys who've watched this channel know what that means. So that's basically what Rebecca Chang is, pretty much. Flirty and all that, seductively talking to, the guys. I mean, it honestly makes me laugh because I used to be like that when I was, with women who are single, and back when I was single back in my day, I was kind of flirty like that with some people, like not everybody, but, because I just don't want to make people uncomfortable. But the way Rebecca does it is pretty well done. How they made Rebecca, one of those, women that likes to flirt with guys, It's pretty interesting how we have like a remake of it, but except that is Off the Record is not canon to the original story. But however, in this one, it makes Rebecca lives in Off the Record, but however, Stacy becomes the villain, kind of similar to, Sullivan being the villain. I mean, I've not played Off the Record yet, so I can't really say much about that, but I do have to say, once I do play it, maybe I'll give out more of my opinions on that in the bit or something. Like, I don't know when that will be. That would probably be whenever I get the game, which I don't know when I'll get off the record. So when I do, I'll definitely keep you guys posted. But anyways, I guess with that being said and that being the case, like I'm gonna say right now, this is simply my own personal opinion on Dead Rising 2. If you happen to disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions in regards to these games. If you don't like Dead Rising 2, perfectly fine. I respect your opinion. If you like it, that's perfect too. You can all sit there and, leave your likes on there, like likes on what you like about it. If you didn't like the game, let me know what your thoughts and opinions are in the comments below. So anyways, I guess with that being the case and with that being said, yeah, what did you guys personally think of the game? Like the second one? I personally like the second game a lot better than the first one. I mean, while the first game did have pretty good concept, good characters, good, development, great storyline and all, and especially the zombies. This one does pretty good, but also in this one, the sequel, you can also, craft weapons to make them, 1,000 times more stronger, crazy, it's pretty awesome, which is why I like the second one a lot better than the first one. That's just my opinion, like I said before. So if you guys like the first game, that's perfectly fine too. If you prefer the first game, I totally respect your opinion, but if you like this game, let me know what you guys think. So, I'm the Lion Queen. I want to thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you're new to my channel, feel free to leave this video a like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. Ring the bell for notifications to when I upload, so that way you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, I'll be seeing you all in the next video, so peace out. And like always, guys, I'll be seeing you all in the next video. See you all later.